Hello, bonjour. I'm just editing the most recent video, and this is one that picks up from where I was in Lassay Chateaux where I had to stop filming due to breaking my foot. I'm picking up from the point, the viewpoint of the chateau that I was heading towards at the time, and I will walk around, or I do walk around, the chateau and the lakes there, and just show you around it really. I'm unable to go inside at the minute. I've inquired about filming inside, which hopefully I'll be able to do, and I will do that on another video. But this one is just for that main chateau, and in the next week I hope to go and film the other two chateaux. If you remember, I told you that it's called Lassay Chateaux because there are 3 chateaux, but this is the only one that is actually whole, if you like, and inhabited, and the other 2 are ruins. One is sort of worse than the other one, but still steeped in history, and I'm going to be including the links about all 3 below the videos. And in this video, and in the same link actually, you will see that there are other places there are in this area to visit, and I'm hoping to visit as many of those as I can and film them and show them to you, weather permitting, all that sort of thing. It's obviously not all going to be happening in a few weeks, but over time I'll try and get there and I'll film them for you. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. Please like, subscribe and comment as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Right, where was I? Okay, up there's where I broke my foot. Okay, let's take a walk. You can see the chateau in front, and on a nice sunny day without any wind around, that lake, which apparently is a pond, would be very, very still, and the reflection of the chateau is usually stunning. It never grows old, that view. In front of you there you can see the little pontoon where people sometimes fish from. On the left here, this hedge sometimes gets a bit high, but I'm always very curious of what is on the other side. I've never been able to go and see that lake, which is the lower lake. Lucky I had the camera because I could see that much, but I was surprised after that because, as you'll see in a minute, we did manage to actually go down there. For once that wasn't fenced off, and I could actually go down there and have a look. It's such a lovely wander on a nice dry, calm, quiet day. Much it's always quiet. I think some of our viewers live in the houses that are at the end. You can just see from the edge of the lake there. Well, one in particular anyway. See all the lovely trees along the edge of the lake there, and on the other side, or between there's 2 rows of trees, and in between and under those trees there's a stream that runs. We'll take a walk up there in a minute. go. You can see one of the towers, we see two of the towers, but the main one in front of us, and the one there to the right is in repair at the moment, which is why you can see this like a builder's office there, and the fencing sort of unfortunate, spoils the view a little bit, but it's necessary maintenance on the tower and part of the ramparts, which you'll see in a minute when we go on the other side. See there, the tiles have sort of come off. It's probably in recent storms, I expect. Here we go. Now we get to go down to the part that I've never been down. It's just a nice, pleasant surprise. And they've got these brick or stone buildings here, which I'm assuming at one point that people used to live in. You can see there's a dormer there, which must have meant there was a window from the loft area at one point, or it was just used for throwing hay in and out of, maybe. No, I'd love to know what the building was there for. There's no signs to say what it used to be. But it'd be lovely converted into a little cottage though. It was so peaceful this day walking down here, and I love all the reflection of the sunlight through the trees and everything. You see there in front of us, that's the overflow to the stream that I was just talking about around the edge of the lake. Excuse me. And so yeah, then that in turn then runs down to the lower lake or pond. There's something about this just reminds me of Little House on the Prairie, if any of you remember that. Another little building. So it's got windows to the side, but not on the front. But I know years ago they used to tax you, didn't they, on how many windows you had, so maybe that's why there's not so many windows on these buildings. At some point they've obviously had to put bars in just to stop people getting in and destroying the actual building itself. There you go, see, that's where the water runs from the stream and down to the pond or lake that we'll come to in a second. And so I realised once we were here that it must get used a fair amount, this area, because obviously got benches there to sit on. It's just been my bad luck that it's been shut every time I've been there. Maybe that was when the gardener was cutting the grass. There we go, making our way down past the pond, lake. Again, there's a little bridge in front of us. I'll zoom in on that in a minute, but we didn't actually walk down that far. Trying not to walk too far still at the moment. This stone wall on the right here, we think follows all the way around the outside of the chateau garden. We've been in the chateau garden, but you lose your bearings a little bit, but we think that's what this is at the moment. And there's obviously all the trees around on the border of the chateau. This gate has obviously never been used, or not for a very, very long time, because all the trees have grown in front of it. I imagine that was a nice way to leave the chateau, walk out down to the lake. So for some this would be a lovely place for a picnic, and I'm surprised there aren't any picnic benches actually, because the French do love a picnic, and there's usually picnic benches in anywhere you can put them. I can see another bench on the other side of the river there. Maybe they don't want you hanging around too much, and perhaps they don't want the litter, but generally the French are very respectful, and you don't tend to find rubbish around everywhere. There's that same bridge. I don't think that goes across the lake. I've got a feeling you might be able to walk around at the bottom of the lake there, as I say, but we didn't go that far down. Now we're having a wander back again, back to where we've just come from. So can you imagine just having that little house there, little cottage there? And so there's no windows on the front of it, just the door. Makes me wonder if it's just a barn. Maybe it's where the gardener keeps his mower and everything. So sweet. There in front of us you can see the little, well, it's not really a bridge, but it's just the opening to where the stream runs from the other pond down to here, and you can see the water running out into what I just showed you, like a big puddle. I always loved the sound of running water. And that's what you could hear there. Now back up again. I should have to turn the camera off in a minute because obviously there's people walking towards us and they might not want to be filmed. We've come out of there now, and now we're coming with the chateau behind us, walking towards the pond. That's where we're parked. You can just see our car just over there in front. And we walk round down here. To our left here is the stream I was talking about. And that was very noisy that day. In fact, I noticed they'd put a bale of hay in the stream. I think it maybe to slow it down a little bit. But you wouldn't have been able to hear me speaking. It was quite loud. There's all the houses on the other side of the street. Coming up to this little bridge. I noticed there was a coloured sign on there, so it's obviously part of one of the walks around the town. I haven't followed that on a map yet. Just a view up the stream. And the other way up the stream, and you can just see to the left there's someone's allotment, or potager, as they call it in France. Here you can see the Willow Fence, which is where they've blocked the other side of that pathway which I wanted to go down, but obviously it's been put in place to stop people going past that tower that's having to be repaired. I do love a willow fence. There you go. That tower seems to be okay. You can see the ramparts there, on that wall start to crumble, so I think that's obviously a bit dangerous, and the roof there, you can see the tiles have started to come down. It must have been through some storms over recent years. Now we walk along the wall on the right, see this is where that allotment or potager is that I was just showing you. That overlooks the lake there. Now we're walking up outside the chateau again. Chateau on the left here. That's you see again, that's the tower that needs repair. There's 8 towers actually in the chateau. And they're all connected by the walls and the ramparts. You see all the lovely red ivy clinging to the walls. It always looks lovely on these old buildings. I wouldn't want it on my own though. It does tend to eat into the stone. I know there are some sorts of ivy that don't eat into the stone, which I would love, but I'm not sure Duncan's so keen. So yeah, I don't know where that little gate goes to. Now we're going to walk under the bridge, and that bridge is the bridge that goes to the main gateway into the chateau grounds. There's more of that lovely ivy. In front of us, if you follow that road and turn left, there's a restaurant, which is a restaurant de Chateau. Been there for a very long time. Very nice food in there. We turn away from the chateau. Show you now. See, I'm obviously obsessed with the red ivy. When you have Bastille Day, Fête Nationale, this area very often has lots of entertainment going on. And we're turning into where the bridge is that we've just walked under. You see more of the towers there. See, that's the little bit where we just walked up there away from the lake. I love the old gates. I love any old doors. Some of them are so beautiful, and just it's amazing that they've lasted as long as they have. That's just a sign showing you what works are going on around the chateau. So if I get permission, I will try and film inside and show you the inside. It's a lovely thing to see. Obviously it's not all open because it is inhabited with the family, but they do allow viewings around the rest of the chateau, which I assume helps to maintain the maintenance of the chateau, and sometimes it's just necessary to let people into your home. It's that same little road again. I assume that these barns in front must have had something to do with or connected to the chateau for some reason at some point. It's just a sign saying about Lancelot du Lac. So they call it a lake, but it's known as a pond. That's a randonnée en vallée de Haute Mayenne. It just shows you the maps for the walks around Lassay. In front there you can see another cider press, or what was, but what's left of it. That's giving you a bit of the history about Lancelot and the chateau. As I say, this is the cider press, or apple press for the cider, and it's not in as good a shape as the one in the Rosarie as that I showed you before, but it's used for flowers, and I expect that tree's roots aren't helping it. It makes it crack. Inside, this isn't too bad. They open that sometimes to serve refreshments when there are fêtes going on, like the Fête Nationale. This is, as you'll see on the sign in a minute, it used to be a place for keeping salt, basically, and where they used to collect the taxes. I just can visualise them sitting there with their table and taking money off people. That's just the prices of the entrance to the chateau. So €7.50 for adults to get in, so I should make sure I have that money with me when I go to visit, if and when we can, with the camera. I love this view as you come up towards the steps there. You see in front of you. These steps, the horses used to be had to walk up and down these with carrying everything for the chateau. And this was a prison, which, and then in more recent years, if you call recent years, it was used as a place to care for the poor, education-wise and health-wise. Now we're going into the medieval garden. This isn't looking its best. Again, if I'd have been able to do this before I hurt my foot, it would have been a bit prettier, but it's coming to the end of the season, so it's not as pretty as it could be. But it's still a nice little walk. It's a medieval garden that's like a potager or allotment, so there's lots of vegetables growing. That's a vine that's coming to the end. There's the sunflowers there at the end of their season as well. I don't know who maintains these gardens, but I think it's time they went and had a tidy up. That's the thing, I think with COVID in the recent couple of years, things have been neglected a little bit. Some wild strawberries, they were everywhere. Thinking about getting some for our garden, for our woodland part of the garden, even though it's not going to be very woodland, but they look like they'd probably just survive on their own and look lovely. There's apple trees there, so there's lots of apples just laying in the beds. Lots of sad sunflowers. Some things are still growing, as you can see. You see there's lights on the walls and everything, so if you're there for an evening, it looks quite pretty with the little lights. Lots of nasturtiums I noticed were growing around, which I tried to grow this year to keep the black fly off of my beans. But for some reason, I think I told you I got 24 seeds and only 2 plants out of all of those, so wasn't very successful this year. There's all the nasturtiums. Some more wild strawberries around the edge. There's herbs mixed in amongst everything as well. I do wonder whether maybe the garden somewhere again was connected. Oh, it's probably more for the village actually. Probably people in the village probably used to grow things here. Such a shame they haven't tidied it recently. It's just my luck really. But as I say, it's still a nice walk round. One little rose hanging on for dear life and a bud with it as well. Nice where they've made those arches. Again, running water. We love running water. fig tree. Lots of flowers at the end of their season, and probably look, this you can see they've gone to seed now. They need really cutting back. There's another section, and you can see obviously it overlooks the lake from there. So it's a very pretty town. So we're making our way out of the garden now, I think. There we are. Just in front there, there's a couple of houses that I'm suspicious may be one of my viewers' house. I could be wrong. She'll probably tell me in the comments. They're lovely little houses, really nicely kept. There we go, so Notre Dame de Victoire, 22nd of August, is that, I can't even read the date. Now we're walking back down towards the car. It's funny, we filmed this bit already, and then when we got back to the car, I think Duncan accidentally deleted it. So we'd already gone past this crowd of elderly French people on the corner talking, and then gone around and done the same thing again, and they all looked at us stunned as if we were mad. It was funny, but I couldn't not show you, so we had to film it again. So there's more barns and old workshops and things. And then we're back to the start again. That house there on the right, I mean, what a place to live there as well. Look out your window and have the chateau opposite you. Okay, that's it then. Au revoir.